What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Retro Cup running Shadow Giraffe Rig, Shadow Latios and Rayquaza to see if Rayquaza still puts in work despite the Breaking Swipe nerf, or if it's just super unreliable now that it only has a 50% debuff chance. In the Retro Cup it's pretty clear that Dragon is the best typing since it's completely unresisted against the meta, and then Psychic is probably the next best typing since only other Psychic types do resist that damage, so that's why I went with a mixture of Psychic and Dragon type Pokemon. So with that being said, let's just get straight into the question of the day. Which off-meta Pokemon are you most sad about getting nerfed this season? Maybe it was collateral damage because another Pokemon needed to get nerfed like a lot of the other Breaking Swipe users. Maybe it's a Pokemon that was actually indirectly nerfed, didn't have a change to its moveset but a lot of its counters were buffed. I don't know, just let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. So going into the first battle, lead Shadow Giraffe Rig into Cast Form. Now I've got two better responses, so I'm going to say swap into my Shadow Latios and we bait out the Ice type, which is really important because Rayquaza, obviously being double weak to Ice, is going to have a much worse time. But here I'm able to grab a shield, the opponent goes for the farm down, but because they swapped out really late, I'm able to make it to 2 Dragon Claws, grab both shields from an Ice type Pokemon. So here you can just see how destructive these Dragon type Pokemon can be, since there's not a single Pokemon in this meta that does resist the Dragon typing. They go for a Weather Ball. I decide they're probably just going to go straight Weather Ball, so I let the first one go through. They throw an alignment both times, so that's fine with me, and we're able to get the Confusion farm down. They come in with a Water Gun Whiscash. I'm realizing now Rayquaza is going to have an absolute field day in this matchup. They swap back into their Cast Form, and what I will be doing is shielding the first move. I think they can only throw resisted charge moves here, so it doesn't really matter if I shield or not, but they will make it to a second move, and you can see Rayquaza is obviously not very bulky, so I would have had to shield one anyways, but I come out with a Dragon Ascent loaded, and this is absolutely going to one-shot the Whiscash, and I'm able to take that game. So going into the next battle, see Shadow Giraffe Rig into Haunter. This is a really positive matchup, and the opponent takes one Confusion, realizing that's really bad, and then they swap into their Frost Sash, and this is a bit tricky. We can't really afford to let Frost Sash go up against either Dragon Pokemon in the back, so I'm actually just going to stay in. We've already debuffed their defense with the Psychic Fangs, and I can just fully Confusion, farm them down, and then they come in with Poliwrath, so Giraffe Rig putting in so much work in this battle, grabbing the shield there, and they can't get the farm down before we make it to yet another Psychic Fangs, and we take out the Poliwrath, and now we just come in with the Rayquaza, safely shield this up. Probably going to be an Ice Punch, which would easily one-shot the Rayquaza, but now I'm able to just fully Dragon Tail, farm them down, and take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Giraffe Rig honestly nearly soloing the entire team, but into the next game we see another Ice type, this time in the lead, so very good to see it here. The opponent's going to swap, cash the move onto Trevenant. Really nice play there, but this is actually quite good for me because now I can go for a couple more Confusions, and then I will swap as the opponent makes it to a Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb will be resisted, and they will only get maybe one Shadow Claw off, so we don't take too much damage there. And if the opponent wants to go for a full Powder Snow farm down, they will have to tank a Dragon Claw or use their shield, so they do correctly throw just before we make it to the charge move. Weather Ball going to be taking us out, and once again we can make sure that Rayquaza doesn't align up against the Ice type. We can now go for a Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs should be taking them out from this range, so the opponent does use their shield. But once again, they throw it on poor timing, so I will be able to shield once, fully Confusion, farm them down, and the opponent has a Toxicroak in the back, so this is amazing for us. I go for the Psychic Fangs, grab the shield, and now we swap into Rayquaza, and the opponent just concedes the match there. So what I will say is that in some of the earlier battles that I did, I was still at like rank 17, rank 18 or something like that, and I had just previously used my triple mushroom theme team in the Open Great League, so I might be facing slightly lower skilled battlers than maybe you're seeing on other channels, but we do go very successful with this team, so we do eventually start seeing a lot more stronger teams, triple or at least double dragon teams as well, like my team. But here I'm able to catch the Surf, get the Dragon Breath farm down before the opponent makes it to another charge move, and they've got Lantern in the back, and this is a really smart play by the opponent. Didn't help by the fact that my phone is just really laggy right now, but they're able to snipe with the Shadow Dragon Air. I did have a Dragon Claw loaded, so really smart play there. And you can see my phone is just not handling this very well. But we come in with the Rayquaza. They should only make it to one charge move. They go for Aqua Tail there. Didn't really matter. They were going to grab my shield anyways. And now we need to make it to 2 Breaking Swipes before the opponent makes it to 2 Surfs. And the opponent isn't going to throw their energy until they get there. So we do just outpace them to Breaking Swipe number 2. And this will be taking out the Lantern. And I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there, and also I thought I'd mention that in my first few sets, I don't think I got a single Breaking Swipe debuff, which was kind of crazy. These battles are slightly out of order, so yeah, if you have seen a Breaking Swipe debuff, then it's probably just a slightly later game. But here, I also used an Elite TM for Luster Purge. I think that's the only time I threw it, and the opponent shielded anyway, so that was really pointless. I might as well have just kept on Solar Beam, and yeah, obviously Solar Beam we probably wouldn't have got there because it is quite a lot of energy. My thinking here is that I probably need to just go for a full Confusion farm down. Honestly, I have not been keeping track of their energy, and unfortunately they do make it to yet another charge move, so I'm just gonna let Girafarig go down at this point. Come in with the Rayquaza, so we tank 1 Ice Shard. They come in with a Medicham, and it's not looking too good for us. I'm gonna over farm here, use my shield. It is game over, but I'm just gonna see if I can make anything work. They actually go for Psychic there, so clearly not running Ice Punch, which is slightly better for me. As we go for the Breaking Swipe, it doesn't quite take them out. They swap back into the Hypno, and yeah, they make it to a charge move. Elemental Punch, doesn't matter what they throw. Thunder Punch will be taking us out, and we do unfortunately lose that game. So GG's to that opponent there. I wonder if I went straight Dragon Claw up against the Lapras, maybe I could have made it to a second Dragon Claw and at least grabbed a shield or something. But into next game, we're going to see a Frostlass here. So once again, good to see the Ice type in the lead. I'm actually going to go for a Psychic Fangs here, just because this will allow me to come in with my Shadow Latios and just fully Dragon Breath, farm them all the way down. I also bank the Psychic Fangs there on my Girafarig as well. The opponent going to go for a Surf. Actually looks like a second Surf might take us out, but I'm gonna risk it anyways. Surf barely doesn't take us out. We get the Dragon Breath farm down, come out with 1 HP remaining and a Dragon Claw loaded. So actually that worked out perfectly for me, as the opponent only gets 1 Powder Snow through. They then come out with 1 HP of their own there, so pretty crazy turn of events. But we get the Confusion farm down. We're gonna go straight for that Psychic Fangs there up against a Credilli in the back, and this should be game over for the opponent. They do have 2 shields, but it's just not gonna help them. We can continuously debuff their defense, and the opponent's going to go for a very aggressive Bullet Seed farm down, and they're not able to do so, and we can make it to another Psychic Fangs. The opponent recognizing there was nothing they could do, so they just let the Credilli go down. So GG's to that opponent there. Internet's going to see Talonflame in the lead. So once again, got 2 dragons in the back. Might as well swap into my Shadow Latios. And we're able to make it to a Dragon Claw just before the opponent makes it to a potential Brave Bird or a Fly. And now they swap into Credilli. Now, unfortunately, Dragon Claw won't quite be enough damage to take them out. But I'm pretty happy to let the Latios go down at this point. So I will let this move go through. Rock Slide will be taking us out from this range. We now come in with the Shadow Girafarig, and I will let this move go through. I'm just going to save both my shields for the Rayquaza. They go for a Rock Slide. We can get the Confusion farm down, and I'm actually going to go for a Psychic Fang straight away, just because I wasn't 100% sure if we lived the Incinerate damage there. We would have lived it reasonably comfortably, so probably could have gone for that Confusion first, but it doesn't really matter. We will be able to go for the Dragon Tail farm down, and assuming they don't have an Ice type in the back, Rayquaza is pretty strong, and it ends up being another Whiscash, so they don't actually farm to the potential Blizzard. Scald might debuff my attack, but unfortunately for the opponent, it doesn't, and we can go straight for Dragon Ascent number 2, taking out the Whiscash once again, and I'm able to Dragon Tail, farm down the Talonflame, and take that game. So you can see if opponents are not prepared for Dragon types, then they're just going to run through their team. So into the next game, we see Jellicent in the lead. So I'm going to stay in this matchup. We are resisting these hexes because we are part normal. They go for a Surf, and I do build up to the Thunderbolt. I'm going to go for Psychic Fangs. I think I would prefer Trailblaze in this meta, but I don't have many TMs, so I'm just leaving it on Thunderbolt. This time, we benefit by sniping with the Dragon Breath damage, and the opponent comes in with a Whiscash. Now here, slightly poor timing. I throw an alignment. They get 1 Mud Shot through for free, and they use a shield, and you're going to see that we barely miss out on getting to a Dragon Claw, so that actually did make a difference. The opponent goes for Mud Bomb, taking us out, and I also recognize that they are running a Purified Whiscash, so they might be really spicy and run something like Return. So I'm going to use my shield here, and the opponent is going to full send a Blizzard, so I am very glad I shielded that. And now here, this is almost definitely just a Mud Bomb, but I was like, you know what, I'm not going to risk it. We've got so much energy. They come in with a Knocked Out, and we're going to go for a Breaking Swipe. Can we finally get a debuff here? And the answer is yes, we do get that debuff. And now at this point, I swap into my Giraffe Rig, and we're good to go here. We can go for the Psychic Fangs. This should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. They're actually going to go for the farm down, and we actually simultaneously KO. But even if they got the farm down, Rayquaza had a charge move banked anyways, and I would have been able to take that game. But GG to that opponent there. Into next game, we see Shadow Dragonite in the lead, and I'm expecting them to throw straight away, trying to win CMP. So I get a full Confusion in for free. We now swap, we snipe with the Shadow Latios, and the opponent comes in with a Dugong. So this is not ideal for me. We're going to try and make it to a Luster Purge. Unfortunately, we don't quite get there, but we grab the shield anyways with the Dragon Claw. So that's fine with us. Also, kind of annoying that I did use an Elite TM for that Luster Purge, since we haven't landed it on any Pokemon. I think I only threw it, like I said, once up against that Lapras. But here we have to shield this up, because unfortunately Dugong would absolutely shred through the Rayquaza. The opponent swaps into Medicham, and yeah, it's just game over, unfortunately. Even if the opponent isn't running Ice Punch, they will be able to take me out anyways. But here we're going to see that the opponent is going to go for that Ice Punch, easily one-shotting the Rayquaza. And yeah, not a lot we could have done there, unfortunately, but GG's to that opponent. Now, into the next game, we see Poliwrath in the lead. This is good because we can make it to a Psychic Fangs before they make it to an Icy Wind, but unfortunately, again, lag forces me to overtap. I am really fed up of using this phone, I'm not going to lie. We do get the Confusion farm down, and the opponent going to come in with a Mantine. This is where I should have just gone for that Thunderbolt, because the opponent no-shields it. We were debuffed, so I actually don't know if Thunderbolt would have fully one-shot them from that range, but honestly, it would have done so much damage there. Now, we do swap into Latios. We barely make it to the Dragon Claw on the CMP tire, which is good for us. They full send the Ice Beam, one-shotting us, but I'm pretty sure Rayquaza can get the farm down before they make it to the next Ice Beam, so the opponent swaps into their Dunsparce. Once again, going to go for the Breaking Swipe, hoping for the debuff here. Breaking Swipe grabs the shield, we don't get the debuff. Honestly, it doesn't make a difference in this matchup. Rockslide would probably still take us out even when it is debuffed. So here we're going to overfarm, swap, and we perfectly catch the move. The opponent had to throw there, because if they didn't throw here, we could have just gone for a Psychic Fangs anyway. And now at this point, we can actually go for a full Dragon Tail farm down. We're going to full send the Dragon Ascent just because we have it loaded. And Dragon Ascent will easily take out the Mantine, and I'm able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we can see Shadow Giraffe Rig into Dragonair, and once again, expecting the opponent to throw straight away, so I will not throw my charge move, and now I get a Confusion through for free. The opponent goes for a Body Slam, and we're once again going to snipe with the Shadow Latios, but the opponent actually responds quick enough, so they do swap out, and they swap into Charge Bug, so this actually isn't so bad for us. I have already used the shield, so I'm not going to use my shield here, but they are in range where we can just come in with the Rayquaza, and I will be able to fully Dragon Tail, farm them all the way down. And remember, they do have a Dragonair, but very low health. And the opponent here is just going to concede the match up against the Rayquaza. Not sure what they had in the back, maybe something like a Swampert or a Whiscash, but either way, it was game over, so they concede the match. Now, into the next game, we see an Altaria in the lead. Now, of all the dragons, I probably least like seeing Altaria, just because it is very bulky. So I'm not going to get a shield advantage with my Giraffe Rig, and also, they don't have Dragon Claw, so I can't just wait for the opponent to throw on the alignment and then get a Confusion in for free. But the opponent comes in with the Whiscash. We have seen a Blizzard Whiscash already, so I did respect the damage there. They go for another Scald. Unfortunately, they get 2 attack debuffs in a row, so I can't even go for the full Dragon Tail farm down, which is really frustrating. And now here, the opponent makes a really nice play. They are going to come in with Macargo. I thought it was going to be Altaria, so I throw straight away. Could have gone for an extra Dragon Tail, and now they swap back into Altaria. So if we went for that Dragon Tail, we might have made it to another Breaking Swipe, but unfortunately, we're not able to do so. We come in with Giraffe Rig here. I should have tried to snipe with my Latios, because they were maybe 1 or 2 Dragon Breaths away there. If we got that snipe, that would have been absolutely massive, because now, unfortunately, the opponent will be able to go for a Rock Tomb, and Rock Tomb is going to definitely debuff my attack. And you're going to see here now, Dragon Breath not doing as much damage, and they are barely able to get to another charge move. I also couldn't have thrown a charge move there because they weren't quite at 1 HP, so even if they shielded, they would have been fine, and so the opponent is able to take me out there. So GG's to that opponent. Into next game, we see Double in the lead. Gonna say swap into my Shadow Latios. They just go straight for a Body Slam, so I'm gonna let this move go through. Body Slam does quite a lot of damage, and now they swap into Dugong, so not ideal for us, but once again, we do bait out the Ice type, which is the purpose of the Latios save swap, hoping that they're not running double Ice in the back. They might be, but let's just hope they're not. And now we're going to come in with the Giraffe Rig. I'm going to shield the first charge move here. I'm hoping I can still Confusion Farm them down, but that should go for Drill Run, so I will definitely be able to get that farm down. And actually, if they went for Icy Wind, I don't think I would have made it, so that is really nice for me. We can now go for a Psychic Fangs. I don't expect this to take them out from this range, but they used their shield, and now we can go for a Psychic Fangs on the CMP tie, and this doesn't quite take them out, which is unfortunate, but I will just let Giraffe Rig go down. We can now come in with the Rayquaza, get the Dragon Tail farm down, and they've got a Jellicent in the back. So I'm going to throw here just before they make it to a Shadow Ball, but the opponent actually throws straight away. So this is just going to be a Surf or a Bubble Beam potentially, but it doesn't really matter. We do get the attack drop this time around, so that does very little damage. I'm not sure why they threw there, but that's fine with me. And at this point, we can just safely shield the next charge move. We can go for the Breaking Swipe here, and you can see even if they were running Shadow Ball, they would have got to it here, and we would have won the CMP tie, taken them out with a Breaking Swipe anyways, so it wouldn't have mattered even if they did go for the Shadow Ball initially, or if they built up to the Shadow Ball to force me to use a shield. But into the next game, we're going to see Altaria in the lead, going to go straight for that Psychic Fangs, and the opponent is going to let the Psychic Fangs go through. They are going to stay in, but they throw on really poor timing, so we get nearly a full Confusion in for free, and now we can just fully go for a Confusion farm down. Now this time, we're actually just going to blind throw the Thunderbolt. They come in with Lantern, another matchup where it would have been much better if I was running Trailblaze, but it doesn't really matter. Thunderbolt still did huge damage. I'm going to throw just as they make it to a potential Thunderbolt of their own, and the opponent wants to use their shield there. I can't really afford to shield this up. We should live it anyway, so I will just let it go through. Thunderbolt does a lot of damage. They snipe with the Trevenant, and now we can come in with the Rayquaza and try to go for the full Dragon Tail farm down. I think they have enough energy here for a Shadow Ball, so I'm going to shield. It's just a Seed Bomb, unfortunately. Now we're going to go for the Breaking Swipe. Can we get the debuff? No, we're not able to do so, but the opponent throws just as they make it to a Seed Bomb here, so we should live this. I'm now going to swap into Giraffe Rig, and we are able to simultaneously KO, but I'm able to get the Dragon Tail farm down up against the Lantern and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Dunsparce in the lead. So this is a fairly okay lead for us here. We are going to, once again, not throw straight away, and we do get the full Confusion in for free, and now we will be able to make it to back-to-back Psychic Fangs, and we will be able to win CMP in this matchup here. But instead, I swap. I'm expecting them to blind throw a Drill Run here, but they actually go for the Rock Slide, maybe anticipating a catch like that. So that is a crazy play by the opponent, and I was just like, oh, for God's sake. But we're going to wait out the Switch Lock here. They did not swap out, so they are not Switch Locked, but they're staying in with the Lantern, so maybe they are weak to the Shadow Latios in the back. So we're going to overfarm here, throw just before they make it to a potential Surf. Does the opponent want to use their final shield? No, they're going to let it go through. They come in with a Talonflame, and we should be looking pretty good here. But you're going to see up against a Shadow Latios, these Incinerates, even though they are resisted, are doing huge damage to us. We're now going to go for Dragon Claw number 2, grab the final shield, and I will actually shield this up just because I don't know if a boosted Incinerate will be taking out the Giraffe Rig. So we're going to go for a couple of Dragon Breaths, swap and get off the Psychic Fangs before the opponent registers the Incinerate damage, and a Psychic Fangs is enough to take out the Talonflame, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, another Dragon in the lead. This time it's Dragalge, and here I could have gone for the extra Confusion, but instead I swap. I catch the resisted Aqua Tail onto my Latios, but that massively backfires as they snipe with the Shadow Dragonair, and I don't even make it to a charge move. So not ideal for us. We're going to come in Rayquaza, and unfortunately one Dragon Tail doesn't take them out, so I have to use my shield here, and they are running a triple Dragon team. We need the Breaking Swipe debuff here, so we're going for it just before they take us out, and Breaking Swipe doesn't get the debuff, and that is really bad for us because now we can go for a Psychic Fangs. We should be able to KO in just 2 Confusions, but the Dragon Breaths are dealing so much damage there that unfortunately we won't be able to make it to that final Psychic Fangs, and the opponent is able to take take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we're going to see a Arctopax in the lead. This time we throw because I didn't expect them to go straight for a Dragon Claw, but I should have just gone for the extra confusion once again. We do get the debuff here, and I'm just going to shield up the Dragon Claw, swap into my Latios, and the opponent is able to swap into Dragalge, so maybe another triple Dragon team from the opponent. We go for the Dragon Claw, the opponent lets that go through, they are able to get the Dragon Breath farm down, but now we can come in with the Rayquaza. They shouldn't make it to another charge move, and what do they have in the back? It is a Medicham, and we should be looking pretty fine here. I'm going for the Breaking Swipe straight away. They might not shield the first one here, they actually don't shield the first one, but we do get the attack drop, and the opponent just concedes the match there. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Shadow Giraffe into Frostlass. So once again, good to see the Frostlass in the lead. We are once again going to go for the extra confusion. The opponent this time doesn't throw on the potential CMP tie, so good gameplay by the opponent. And now they swap into Lantern, and once again, we're going to go for that Psychic Fangs, debuff their defense, so I will be able to fully Dragon Breath, farm them down with my Shadow Latios. The opponent going to go for a Thunderbolt, which does a lot of damage here. I'm going to start attacking for a short period there, just to make sure we're in basically 1 Powder Snow farm down range. We go for the Dragon Claw, grabbing a shield, and they are able to take me out with just 1 Powder Snow, so that means I can outpace them to the Psychic Fangs with my Giraffe Rig. Psychic Fangs takes out the Frostlass, and once again there is a Credilli in the back. We're going for that Psychic Fangs immediately. This might not grab a shield here from the opponent. It actually does grab the final shield, also a CMP tie it looks like, so I'm just going to let this move go through. Rockside takes us out. We can come in with the Rayquaza, and I'm able to force the opponent to concede the match there. So GG to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Serperior in the lead. So once again, 2 dragons in the back. So going to swap into my Shadow Latios. The opponent comes in with Clodsire, and unfortunately they barely outpace me before we do make it to a Luster Purge. I really wanted to land at least 1 Luster Purge in this video, but at this point there's no point going for it because I can just go straight Dragon Claw here. Dragon Claw grabs the shield. I unfortunately don't quite make it to the next Luster Purge, so I have to settle for a Dragon Claw, and it barely doesn't take them out. Now I could double shield, but I don't think there's any point. So Stone Edge takes out the Shadow Latios. We come in with the Rayquaza, we get the Dragon Tail farm down, and the opponent comes in with a Talonflame. So we go straight for the Breaking Swipe here. Breaking Swipe, not going to do too much damage, but it probably puts them into farm down range, so the opponent does use their shield. They're now going to go for a Brave Bird, full send in the Brave Bird. We can go for another Breaking Swipe up against the Serperior, hoping for a debuff. Breaking Swipe does get the attack drop once again, which is really nice. Now we can very easily live an Aerial Ace here. I will overfarm, farm up to the Breaking Swipe, then swap into my Giraffe Rig, get the snipe with the Confusion farm down, and I can make it to another Psychic Fangs up against this Talonflame, and this will be enough damage to take out the Talonflame, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.